Okay, welcome to another edition, another episode. My name still remains OMO ONI. So today I'm going to be talking about something that a lot of people has run away from. So, okay, we're going to be looking at how to avoid your OMO ONI-iLE issues. So when you encounter OMO ONI-iLE, how do you handle them? So over the last 12 years in real estate, I've been involved in about 30 to 40 transactions that involve OMO ONI-iLE. Okay, so I'm going to be talking from wealth of experience and what are the things we've been able to do when we had issues with OMO ONI-iLE, or how can you avoid issue with OMO ONI-iLE and all of those things. So basically that's what I'm going to be talking about today, and I'll be speaking from my heart, and some of the things I'll be advising you to do in this video might be strange, but from experience and from the benefit of hindsight, and they are just some of the best decisions that we have been able to take. Some of the times we don't take those decisions, we end up burning our fingers. Okay, so today that's what we're going to be looking at. And who are these OMO ONI-iLE basically? So these are predominantly the indigenes. Okay, first settlers, first set of people to start farming in a particular location, and all of those things are basically the OMO ONI-iLEs, the indigenes. Sometimes they call them the Onibiko. So if you are originating from southwest Nigeria, we usually call them OMO ONI-iLE. And if you are coming from anywhere, they are basically son of the soil, the boys, the area boys, all those stuff like that are basically the people that we are talking about. And these people, if you do not treat them well, because they are your community member most of the time, especially if you are an estate developer, these people are still going to be there. You will come, you do your business, and possibly you will even leave, and they will still be there. So you need to tread carefully when you are dealing with them. And these guys are so powerful that the government even listens to them. And so if you don't treat them very well, there's possibility that you will lose out from that property. So most of the time, OMO ONI-iLE come into play when we are looking at landed property. So they do not come into play when you are looking at house in most cases. However, the power that they handle is quite huge, right? So you really need to have that at the back of your mind at every point in time. Okay, so those are the people OMO ONI-iLE basically. So land owners, government recognize them actually, and their families that are historical landowners in places like Lagos and different parts of the country, right? And everything I'm going to be sharing with you here today are basically based on my own experience and confined within Nigeria. I know that some other part of West Africa too that experience some of the things that we experience. I even remember a story of a particular man that wanted to build a university in Ghana, and while they were acquiring the land, they had a lot of similar OMO ONI-iLE issue, and he told them, I said, see, give me peace, let me build this university, and after building this university, all your children will come to this university for free. And he thought he has given them an offer that is irresistible. Okay, but they told him point blank no, that they just want settlement. After paying for the land, he still had to settle. And looking back for him, he just said this is typical an African behavior, because we do not think of the future, we only think of what we can hit now. He offered their children, great-grandchildren, a lifetime tuition-free university education. Imagine the valuation of that, lifetime. I mean, they could have signed that and guaranteed that everybody that is born in that family, in that community, will go minimum will be a university graduate. But they declined. They wanted money. I mean, of course, you can almost predict the end of the story right now. Okay, so these are basically who these people are, and you might be wondering what gave them so much power. Of course, government recognize them, and the fact that we lack historical record in this part of the world too, that also gave them power, and the fact that we do not have a land use system that is in place that gives power to when a developer wants to buy a piece of property. That also gives them a lot of power. And the fact that Africa is polygamous in nature, you hear stories whereby you buy a property from a particular family, and at the end of the day, somebody else from that family that is from another mother, or, so you hear stories upon stories upon stories upon stories like that, and you just get tired of it. There's even a Yoruba saying that any family that's still experiencing peace is because the bastard in that family has not yet grown up. Imagine, that's an African proverb, okay? So, and the fact that government presence too is always lacking in some of these locations. So these are few things that usually happen, and they affect our land use system, even to land use policy. So it gives these people so much power, and the fact that our justice system too is as backward as anything. I remember I was in a training about 6, 7 years ago, and and in that training there was a report that 70% of the court cases in Nigeria are land, housing, real estate related case. 70% of it. In Nigeria, a real estate case can take as much as 30 years, 40 years, and you are still in court. Imagine. So when are you going to reap the benefit of that asset when you are still in court? So you have all these cases, and some people that does not have, they have zero integrity, and they do not basically have anything to lose, are just going to be reaping fat where you have invested. Okay, so follow me as we look at how to deal with this matter. So, most often we teach about the fact that there are 3 things you do when you buy a piece of land, right? For those that can remember, you take possession, you can fence, you can do a whole lot of things to take possession. You take occupation, you make sure you are doing something on that land. Then number 3, you do documentation. So you can do all these 3 things and still have a OMO-ONI-iLE issue. Yes, you can have all the paper, you can have CFO, and still have a OMO-ONI-iLE issue. I'm telling you, that is possible. We have experienced it several times. In fact, there was a particular property we've done allocation, people were already working on the site, and the family that sold it to us went behind our back and sold it to a cement company. And the funniest part is that same cement company were not even able to use the land, because before they sold it to us and eventually sold it to the cement company, their great-grandfather sold it to somebody else before. So imagine the layers of troubles and problems. Until today, there's relatively no peace on that same particular property. So I'm going to be sharing, based on some of these experiences that we've had, I will just be sharing few things. When this trouble comes, how do you handle it? Number 1, what you do is that you respond, you don't react. You respond, do not react. When you hear things happen, I remember that day we were just called that there's a caterpillar clearing our land. We were on the caterpillar clearing which land? And they demolished people's walls, people's fence. It was a mega devastation. We had to go to the site, and instead of us reacting, we had to respond, because at that point in time, the thought is, what next? And what next is basically for you to just pick it up and continue, because we are into the business, of course. And when you promise there are no OMO-ONI-iLE issue, what it means is that the OMO-ONI-iLE did not die, but you are the one that will be interfacing with this OMO-ONI-iLE. So that's basically what we did. We went there, we were calm, even though we were very, very firm, but we were calm. So that is also responding and looking at way forward than for us to react. Our reacting can be, you take police, you do all those things. For goodness sake, these guys have nothing to lose. They are used to sleeping in a police station. They are used to all those stuff. Going to police station today. I mean, imagine involving Nigerian police that money can compromise. Imagine that, and all of those things. And in the first place, there are so many legal loopholes that you just find yourself in, and you just be roaming from one police station to the other and be spending unnecessary money and wasting your time in court and all of those things. So these are some of the things that do happen. However, number 2 is that you must be ready to cut your losses and move on. You see, when it comes to land is just like any other investment, is very, very logical. Very, very logical. I was watching a series. I can't remember the title of the series, but it was talking about how what happened preceding 2008 housing collapse in the United States of America, and this particular company was about to downsize, not knowing that the housing collapse was even going to happen any moment from now. And one of the person that was sacked was a particular guy that was running a model that was going to predict. It was an investment company, so they had these historical data they were using to run models that was going to predict the next thing. And this guy was just working on it and was not getting, because he couldn't imagine that the housing, these are housing projects that collapsed, Lehman Brothers and all those, Freddie Mac and the rest of them and all of that. And he couldn't just believe his eyes. And that was the same day was going to see that project through. That was the same day he was sacked. Very cold and mean way of sacking people. And you see, when it comes to investment, you have to just be cold in taking some decision. And like I said, just respond and not react. Reaction, you might regret it eventually, but when you respond intelligently and you respond creatively. So number 2 is you cut your losses. Okay, you look at it. Okay, at this point in time, what am I going to lose? So at that point in time, we paid for 40 acres, and they took us somewhere we can only get 20 acres. At that point in time, for us, it's just hold on to these 20 acres while we're waiting for. I know when the guy gave us the 20 acres, the family gave us the 20 acres, he said he was going to use 10 acres to compensate us. It was just, as I'm telling you today, the remaining 20 acres and the remaining 10 acres is nowhere to be found. We are still pursuing it, and this is about 2007, that's 6 years ago. We are still pursuing it. In fact, that same 20 acres that he gave to us, as I'm talking to you right now, we've not been able to fully utilize that land. There's still one issue here and there and all of that. So you just have to count your losses and move on. That is very, very important. You are into the business, you can't just, if you stay for too long on that particular matter, you are just going to be discouraged and you are going to lose out eventually. Okay, so you count your losses and you move on. Okay, the next thing is that you must be open to dialogue and compromises. Okay, so when this thing happens, it might look like people are trembling on your right, and that is basically what they're happening. What is happening and what they are doing. I've lost money, I've lost land, I've lost time. So what is really the next thing? So open to dialogue, because if you are not open to dialogue, and you want to take force, you bring the law enforcement officers, you do all those things, you go to an arbitration. Arbitration will still tell you to go and dialogue first before you come for litigation. So you must do that, because land matter is a civil case, and most civil cases in Nigeria will first of all refer you to arbitration, and after, if there's no compromise or any conclusion at the arbitration level, then most likely you now go into litigation. No, lawyers will not advise you to do all of these things. When you go to litigation, appearances and all those things, and is what will make them make a lot of money. So you need, in fact, to the extent of possible reallocation. So what happened to us then was that we're reallocated. So you need to be open to all of that. So very, very important. Okay, number 4 is that you need to learn from every situation. Learn from every situation so that you will not repeat the mistake, and put policies and structures in place that will not allow you to fall into that pit or trap. So that's very important. And number 5, where I'm going to be rounding up in this very particular edition, is that please try as much as possible not to go to court, and don't involve police. Land matters are civil matter. When you involve police, what you are just going to do is going to waste your time, waste your resources, and at the end of the day, it's still going to lead to negotiation. So why not start the process of negotiation? When you want to use police or use the court, is for you to gain leverage, not because you are expecting those avenues and system when it comes to land transaction to give you. Some people even use EFCC. I've seen all sorts of stuff when it comes to this business. But see, try as much as possible to do those 3 things we usually talk about: take possession, take occupation, and sort out documentation. Then you can then use police to probably form some of mitigation or intimidation, just for people. Some of these guys, when they see police with guns, their brain used to correct. Okay, so I hope in case there are areas I didn't touch, I hope I have been able to touch the key part, but if there's any area or there are any areas I've not been able to touch, what I will encourage you to do is send me a DM or chat 080-7534-3090, and I can open my wealth of experiences to you to help you a great deal. Okay, my name still remains OMO ONI. So do like, share this video, share it to people that you think that will need it, and it will help you a great deal. Thank you very much. Have a great one.